Kim, who working with you?
All right, let's make sure that everyone's present. Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Long, and this is going to be the State Court, Fulton State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar. This is a list of cases for defendants who were recently charged and booked at the Fulton County Jail. Soon after they were booked at the jail, the prosecutor, which is the Solicitor General's Office of Fulton County, has formally accused each defendant with one or more misdemeanor charges. So based on the accusation, the case is now with the Fulton State Court, and this would be the defendant's initial appearance before a state judicial officer. At this time, when we address each of your cases on a one-on-one basis, we will cover what's your case number, what are the charges brought against you, who's going to be your appointed counsel, as well as what type of bond you will receive. Some of you will also receive a court date. If you have been charged with one or more misdemeanor charges, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say during the course of this open virtual court that's not only live streamed, but also recorded, your recorded statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, presently you will be represented by the attorneys from the Public Defender's Office or from the conflict defense list. If you decide to hire your own private attorney, please make sure that your attorney files what we call an entry of appearance. In other words, a formal document saying that he or she is representing you, all right? So that we will know to whom to send the notices. Courtroom 2, good afternoon. Who are we addressing first?
This is position 13, Mr. Smith.
All right.
Mask up, Mr. Smith.
All right. Mr. Ronald Smith, is that you?
Yes, Ronald Lee Smith.
I'm so sorry, I didn't hear you. Are you
I
Ronald
say
Smith?
Ronald Lee Smith.
Keep your mask up, Mr. Smith.
L-E-E Smith.
Okay. Can I address you as Mr. Smith?
Yes,
Your case number is 22 CR 0055208. You've been accused of simple battery domestic violence. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim. Any priors, please? Mr. Tucson? All right, who's our prosecutor?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Tucson, any priors on Mr. Smith, position
bad.
13?
I had to get the file. He went to felony earlier, got a $5,000 good bond.
Okay,
He got 43 total. History out of Ohio, Virginia, Jersey, and Florida. My pen there. Last arrest was 2017, cruelty to animals. He got a 2016 and 2011 failure to appear.
any convictions in the last couple of years, other than arrest?
No.
No, okay. Ms. Fleming, yes, good afternoon. Is,
It's gonna be me, Your Honor. ASG Johnson.
oh, Ms. Johnson, I'm sorry, you are on a different screen. Let me just put you back where you need to belong. Okay, there you go. All right, Ms. Johnson, good afternoon. And what is your bond recommendation for Mr. Smith?
My bond recommendation is 3,000 surety, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no further contact, a stay away, and a one-day anger awareness. Your Honor, the date of offense is August 17th, 2022. The location is 1742 Willis Mill Road, Southwest. Officers arrived to the incident location due to a male caller stating he had a dispute with female who had a knife in her hand. Ms. Willis stated that her and the defendant had gotten into a verbal altercation in which the defendant pushed her down and threw a camera at her head. Officers spoke to Tamika Gay, who was next to the room of Ms. Willis, and she said she heard the commotion and tussle, what sounded like someone falling to the ground. Officers also spoke with a Mr. Gregory Miller, who was in the basement during the altercation, and he said he heard what sounded like someone falling to the ground. All parties stated later the defendant left the room and took hold of a knife, but did not threaten or attack anyone with it. The defendant stated that Ms. Willis was bothering him and had a knife at some point. However, based on the stories of everyone, the officers decided to arrest Mr. Smith. Your Honor, that victim, and I want to put it down on the record, is Joancy. I might be pronouncing that wrong. First name spelled Joancy. Last name Willis, Willis. Your Honor, for that reason, we will be asking for a $3,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no further contact with Ms. Willis, a stay away from that incident location, and 1 day anger awareness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Ronald Smith is 74 years old, and actually he claims that he has been here in Georgia for 74 years, all his life, even though he was in Virginia a long time ago. He is a permanent resident here in Georgia. He has 5 adult children, and he is not married as of now. He's actually widowed. He does not have any employment, and his education was up to 7th grade. And he currently has no other income other than minimum paid Social Security check that he has. And he also needs to take his prescription medicines at the jail that he has not been able to take. He denies the allegations, and he would like to request for signature on bond, and yet I would like to actually request for signature on bond as well. Thank you, Your Honor.
Bond is set at $1,000. It's a surety bond. He is to have no further contact with Jonesy Willis and Tamika Gay, and to stay away from 1742 Wills Mill Road in Atlanta, Georgia. He may return one time only with a police escort to remove his personal belongings. Within 30 days of making bond, he must update the court with his new address. No alcohol, no drugs, and no weapons. Next court date is going to be, is it August 30th?
September the 1st.
September the 1st.
And Your Honor, if I may just clarify, I know you said no further contact with the victim in this case. Did you also state for the witness? I heard you say another name, Ms. Tamika Gay?
It's Jonesy Willis is the alleged victim, yes?
That's correct.
Okay, I've got Tamika Gay listed as a possible victim also on the citation, or did you?
I have Tamika Gay and Mr. Gregory Miller as witnesses.
Okay, then I'm just going to remove Tamika Gay. It's just going to be Jonesy Willis.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, actually, my client resides at 1742 Willis Mill Road. Would it be okay if Ms. Jonesy Willis moves out of that location? Can he return home?
If she moves out, yes, but I think it's a rooming house. And I don't know what's the likelihood of her moving out. So he cannot, I don't know what the situation is. The warrant says they share a room, so, but he cannot return to that building.
Okay.
He needs to find alternative housing.
Okay.
All
Thank
right?
you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Y'all got the wrong man.
Hmm.
Y'all
Well,
got the
sir,
wrong man.
that's why we have a trial, so we can ascertain the truth of the matter. Okay? Thank you.
Come on.
All right, Mrs. Smith, you're done. Position 10, Howard.
Come on, man. How you there? Good job. Yeah, I'm gonna kill them, man. I can't even walk.
Oh. Repeat that case position number again?
Position 10, Howard.
10, thank you. We have Jamaria Howard, accused of theft by taking a misdemeanor from August 4th, 2022. Ms. Howard, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Wanda Gant. Any priors to some?
Second arrest. Last arrest was back in March. Simple assault, family violence.
Okay,
It's open in the cab. And she's 17.
okay. And Ms. Johnson?
Hi, Judge. It's Lee Reed. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Ms. Reed. I'm so sorry. I don't know why these blocks, the Hollywood squares, they keep moving all over. Sorry about that. Okay, Ms. Reed,
problem.
yes, welcome back. And
Thank you.
what's your recommendation for young Ms. Howard?
Well, currently she has a $1,000 surety bond, and that is our recommendation. This incident happened August 4th, 2022 at 415 Moreland Avenue Southeast in Atlanta, and that's a Crystal's restaurant. An officer was dispatched to the Crystal's restaurant due to a call regarding theft. The defendant came to the restaurant to apply for a job. A restaurant worker named Tammy Andrews told the officer that she briefly stepped away from the cash register and the defendant took out $400. The officer observed camera footage of the defendant taking money out of the register. Just want to add that pretrial was unable to verify any of the information provided by the defendant. So there is a risk that she has limited ties to the community. And Your Honor, as pretrial also mentioned, she does have an open case in DeKalb County for simple assault. For these reasons, we are asking for a $1,000 surety bond and a stay away from the location, and no drugs or alcohol while out on bond. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ms. Jamaria Howard is 17 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area here. She does have family. She doesn't have any children, and I have been in contact with a family member, Your Honor, to verify that she is in fact an Atlanta resident. Your Honor, Ms. Howard is currently in 12th grade. She is enrolled at McNair High School. Her favorite subjects are math, or her favorite subject is math, and she plans to enroll in the military upon graduation. She is currently employed at McDonald's. In fact, she started that position back on August 2nd. Your Honor, my client denies the allegations. She is presumed innocent. And at this point, Your Honor, she has no prior convictions. I am requesting a signature bond based on the nature of the allegations. And I did place a call to her mom, Ms. Shirley Howard, regarding co-signing for her, but she hasn't returned my call yet. And Ms. Taylor Johnson, a family member, informs me that there is another potential contact, as Ms. Johnson is only 19 years of age, Your Honor.
No, we need someone who is 21 and above. So, and preferably her mother, Shirley Howard, common spelling.
Yes, Your Honor. Shirley Howard, common spelling. I did leave a message for her, Your Honor.
She'll get the message when daughter doesn't show up. Okay, bond is going to be set at $3,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial per judge. That's because of our open DeKalb County case. She can sign up for the bond, but I need her parent, her mother, Shirley Howard, to co-sign the bond. I will waive the utility requirement, but Ms. Howard, Shirley Howard, would need to bring a government-issued ID to make sure that we get her proper identification. No, to stay away from the Crystal restaurant, beginning with a K, at 400 Moreland Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. And Ms. Howard, unfortunately, because now you have 2 open cases against you, you are now subject to a curfew. You shall remain at home from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And you will tell your employer that those are your curfew hours, and this is Monday through Friday, all right, until further order of the court. I'll need a parental cosigner. You are not allowed to leave the state of Georgia unless we have a court-ordered signature allowing you to leave the state of Georgia. Do you understand? Good. I think that means she understands. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next case, please.
Position 8, Freed.
sorry, Francois, did you say position 3?
Number 8.
Position three.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm getting old, so my hearing is kind of going, okay? All right, position number 8, Erica Freed is case number 22 CR 005527D. Ms. Freed is accused of driving with improper erratic lane change, possession of an open alcohol container, and driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. This is from an August 17, 2022 incident. Ms. Freed, any priors, Mr. Tucson?
No. I don't have a driving history though.
Okay. And Ms. Freed, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Gant. Ms. Reed?
Thank you, Your Honor. The bond recommendation on this case is a $4,000 surety bond, and that breaks down to $500 as it relates to count 1, driving improper lane, $500 as it relates to count 2, driving with possession of alcohol, and $3,000 as it relates to count 3, DUI less safe.
All right,
This
and-
case,
Go ahead.
okay, the officer was traveling northbound on Georgia 400, and he observed a car failing to maintain lane multiple times. The officer conducted a stop, and upon speaking with the defendant, he detected an odor of alcohol from the defendant's breath and also observed red and glossy eyes. When asked, the defendant stated she had 1 cocktail, and the defendant agreed to submit to a standardized field test. During the test, the officer observed clues that would determine that she was less safe to drive. The officer proceeded to read the implied consent card to her, and the defendant refused to comply by saying she wanted to speak to an attorney first. Defendant was placed into custody, and upon a search of the defendant's purse, the officer found a half-empty bottle of vodka. Now, although this is the defendant's first arrest, the facts indicate that she was driving on a major highway at 10:30 p.m., which is still considered a busy time here in Atlanta, and her actions most definitely could have hurt or killed someone else. And for those reasons, we are asking for the total $4,000 surety bond. Thanks.
Okay. She just turned 21, 20?
I believe so. 2 days ago.
Okay. All right. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Erica Freed is 21 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area her entire life. She did attend the University of South Carolina in Columbia, Your Honor. She recently graduated. She majored in English and political science. She graduated summa cum laude with a GPA of 3.81. She is currently employed at a local law firm as a legal assistant, and she aspires to become an attorney. She is in fact studying for the LSAT at this time. She has family in the Atlanta, Georgia area. She, Your Honor, we deny the allegation. She is presumed innocent at this point. This is her first arrest. I am requesting a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that she is ineligible, I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,500, and that would be $250 for driving improper lane change, $250 for driving possession of open alcohol container, and finally, $1,000 for DUI less safe. Thank you, Your Honor.
On the DUI less safe, there's a $1,500 surety bond. On the driving, on the other 2 charges is going to be a $500 signature bond through the jail. Total bond is a $2,500 split bond. In order to make bond, you would have to pay on the portion that's a surety bond, which is the DUI. So in other words, you need to bond out on $1,500. Next court date is going to be September 1st. If you do make bond, then you do not need to return on September 1st. We'll send you notice of your next court date to the address that we have on file. If you miss your next court date, a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest, and we get to do this all over again. Your bond will be revoked, and so forth and so on. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, and no firearms, and no driving unless you are permitted to do so. So you can only drive if the Department of Driver Services gives you a permit to drive. After 30 days, your license will not allow you to drive because of a DUI arrest. So you need to make sure that you get the proper permit after 30 days. Do you have any questions about your bond, Ms. Freed?
She's asking the question. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm thinking.
I will give you a call, Ms. Freed, if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer any questions about your bond.
That sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 7, Fleming.
Your Honor, I was hoping we could have a breakout room for this case.
Okay, is that with Brianna Fleming?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anyone else in that room you need to speak, with whom you need to speak?
Well, her mom is supposed to be on the Zoom, Your Honor, but no one else.
Okay, did you want mom in the breakout too?
I think that would be a good idea, Judge.
Okay, the only concern is that she's in courtroom 2. So the only thing you can really do is call into the courtroom, and let me give you the number. 404-612-2392.
Well, Your Honor, I've already spoken with her. I just need a breakout for the court.
With me?
Yes.
Oh,
Your
I see, I see. I thought you wanted to speak to your client.
No, I
see.
don't. I've already spoken with her, Your Honor.
Okay, understanding now. Sorry, it's been a long morning. Okay. Deputy, we're gonna put a hold on Miss Brianna Fleming and we'll get back to her. Let me just address some of the other cases before I do any breakouts. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 15, Strange.
Ashley Strange, case number 22 CR 005522F, is accused of battery, domestic violence from August 17, 2022. Ms. Strange, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Miss.
It's me, Your Honor.
Again, okay, there we go. All right, your attorney is Miss Maureen McLeod. Ms. Tucson, any priors, please?
No.
All right, no priors. And Miss Reed or Miss Johnson?
It would be me, Your Honor. ASG King.
Oh, Miss
Good
King, okay. All right, see, all right, Miss King, what is the bond recommendation from the prosecutor?
The state is requesting a 4,000 surety in this case, a stay away from the incident location, no further contact with the victim, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. This incident occurred yesterday. Officers were dispatched to 1954 East Avenue Northwest in response to a dispute with weapons call. Upon arrival, they met with both parties, the defendant and the victim in this case, Harlee Henry, Harlee, last name traditional spelling. They actually got a statement from the defendant during the course of the investigation, and she stated that the incident started when she went through the victim's phone while he was sleeping. When the victim, the defendant found out he was texting other women and threw the phone at him, and this was confirmed from the victim as well. At that point, the defendant grabbed her, and they began in a physical dispute. At that point, the defendant did slam the victim on the ground, the accused state that she was slammed on the ground by the victim, which caused her to hit her head on a dog cage. But the victim states that in her pursuit of him is when she actually fell and hit her head on the dog cage. They did live together, which is why this is a family violence. Furthermore, a knife was pulled out. The victim told us a knife was pulled out, but there was a door in between them, which is why there's no charges concerning the knife. However, the knife does still concern the state because it could have very well been used, and this could have been a much more serious situation. When officers responded, they noticed on the victim's chest, there were bite marks, and also on his foot. And the victim states that these bite marks did come from the defendant in this case. And the officers were able to discern that the defendant in this case was a primary aggressor, which is why she was the only one arrested. We have been in contact with the victim in this case, and he did confirm they are in a relationship and live together and share children. While the victim does not want to press charges, he is contending that this violent offense did happen and he wants the defendant to stop. He states that he wants contact with the defendant, but that definitely concerns the state. And we are not asking for no violent contact at this time due to the knife being pulled and the victim stating that he does want this to cease. So the state is just requesting the 4,000 surety to stay away, no further contact, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you. Mr. Harley Henry, if you'd like to address the court, I would need to place you under oath. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, man.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. So our prosecutor, Ms. Delania King, has just outlined what was stated in the warrant, a sworn testimony provided by the officer. How do you feel about having Miss Strange come back and live in the same household with you?
Oh no, she fine. She need to come home. We got children. We got infant, 6 months. She got to come home. It was an accident. What happened? You know, but she got to come home most definitely. It wasn't even meant for her to get locked up. She's not supposed to be in there. This is her first time ever going to jail. She don't go to jail. She's not a problem.
Who called the police?
I did because I wanted to get my stuff. I just wanted to get my stuff and get out the house. You know what I mean? But it was a total accident. Like nothing like that will never happen again.
How many children do you all share?
We have 2 children. We have a 9-year-old and we have a 6-month-old. I mean, a 6-month-old.
And the 9-year-old is your child too?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been living together?
10 years.
And you said this was an accident?
Yes, ma'am. It wasn't for her to get locked up at all. She has no charge.
I'm sorry, what part is the accident?
Just her going to jail. They said they had to do that on their own behalf. That's what the police officer told me. I told them all I want to do is get
Police officer is absolutely right. When it comes to a domestic violence situation and 2 people get into this kind of interaction and officers show up and they assess the situation, they have the discretion to decide who to arrest. And when the case comes to the court, the decision to prosecute is not yours. The decision to prosecute is the prosecutor, the Solicitor General's office of Fulton County. Sometimes they don't even need your testimony. They can use the body cam and the evidence that the police officer has determined to make a case. So I'm not sure what you mean by an accident, but I do appreciate the fact that you need a home to look after the children. I do understand that fact.
Yes, ma'am.
So y'all decide how y'all going to address this. Ms. McLeod, anything to add?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 27 years old and she doesn't have a record. She's currently unemployed, although she expects to be employed anytime now. She was interviewed and offered a job. They just haven't called her yet. As was stated, she is the mother of 2 minor children, Your Honor, and she needs to take care of them. They're still quite small, especially the younger one who is only 6 months old. Based on the fact that she does not have any record of violence, Your Honor, I would ask the court to give her a signature bond so she can get out of jail and take care of her children.
Well, my concern is the alleged reason why this altercation began. So if there are issues of infidelity or issues with, well, you know what the warrant says. Bond is going to be set at $3,500. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. Ms. Strange, you can sign up for your bond, but you need to comply with the conditions of the bond in order to make sure that you return to court and that you do not reoffend. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You have to report to pretrial once a month. You will complete a 1-day anger awareness program with pretrial services. You are to have no further contact with Harley Henry.
Okay.
So either Mr. Henry can vacate the premises or you and the children can vacate the premises, but the 2 of you cannot live together. You can return to the property at 1954 East Avenue, Northwest Atlanta, 1 time only with a police officer to retrieve your children and to retrieve your personal belongings. However, if Mr. Henry vacates the premises, then you can go and live in the same location. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
My point is you and Mr. Harley Henry cannot live under the same roof. You have to stay 200 yards away from him, and you have to make sure that you do not communicate with him directly in person, through a phone, through a computer device, or anything to that effect.
Okay. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right? The only time you can communicate is through a third party. I will allow for third party transfer of the children. So if you want to let Mr. Harley have the kids for a weekend, make sure a third party comes and pick them up and returns them to you.
Okay.
No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, and no firearms. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, let me ask you, has Mr. Henry legitimated the children?
No.
All right. Y'all might want to consider that.
Okay.
All right. Your next court date will be sent to you. If you return to the 1954 East Avenue location, your notice will be sent there. However, if you're going to be living at a different location, you must update the court with your new address within 30 days of being released.
Okay, because I'm currently on the Atlanta Housing Authority, so I do my voucher is up on the 27th, so I will have a new address within 2 weeks. That's why I'm trying to get home, because I have to move out of there. But that's my unit. He's not there anymore.
All right. So you and the kids will move to a different location.
Yes, ma'am.
So
I
as soon
already
as you
paid
get,
for-
as soon as you get that new address, you need to let the court know, because notices will be sent there.
Okay, I already have my unit number and the address. I can give it to y'all, but I won't be moving in till like 2 weeks.
I'll give it to your attorney or come down to 160 Prior Street and update the court with it.
Okay.
All right?
All
Now,
right.
this is a serious pending case against you. This could be held against you when it comes to, public housing.
I know.
So please work very strongly with your attorney to resolve this. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Position 1, Anderson.
Okay, we can remove Mr. Harley from the Zoom as well. This is Dorenia Lysandria Anderson, charged with battery domestic violence, first offense from August 17th, 2022. Ms. Anderson, you've been accused of battery domestic violence. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. McLeod. Any priors, Mr.
This is a fourth arrest. Last arrest was December 2020. Ag assault with a deadly weapon. That's 20 CP 196089. Before that was 2015 FTA for a fray. The fray was dismissed later on in 2015. That's it. So she just got the open felony.
All right, thank you.
Good
Mr.
afternoon.
Segura? Yes, Mr. Segura, yes. What's going on, sir?
Good afternoon. The recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond with the conditions of 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, a stay away from the incident location, which is 1783 Johnson Road, Northwest Atlanta, and no further contact with Christopher Overton. Christopher, common spelling, Overton, O-V-E-R-T-O-N. In this case, at the residence, which is the incident location, Mr. Overton was in the doorway and refused to move, at which point the defendant punched him in the face, which caused a knot on the right side of his forehead, a swollen right eye, and bleeding busted lips. We spoke to Mr. Overton this morning, in which he said they are in a relationship and they live together. Alongside, he said he does not want to press charges and wants to have contact with the defendant, but it's not a good idea. Since now, notice this act of violence is not the first time a defendant actually caused an act of violence against a family member. Back in which Petra noted that the defendant does have an open felony case on December 12, 2020, which was aggravated assault with deadly weapon, case number 20 CP 196089, in which she was given a $5,000 good bond, in which the victim, Mr. David Anthony, common spelling, is someone with whom the defendant shared a child. So they also make this case a second case involving family violence. And so in considering that not only has the defendant this open felony, including family violence, now she has this one as well. So because of that, we're all concerned about the safety of Mr. Overton, concerning the defendant's background. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 25 years old. She tells me that she has been the victim of consistent domestic violence by the complaining witness. She says she's had to call the police on him several times in February, and she said she called on Tuesday before this incident happened. She denies that they live together. She told me that he showed up at her home recently and tried to force his way in. And that was when he hit her, and she was simply defending herself when she hit him. He called the police and she was arrested, but that was her home, Your Honor. They do not share any children, to my knowledge. She is the mother of 2 minor children, and she's occupied taking care of them. That is what she does. She has a 10th grade education, she tells me, and she stays home and takes care of her children. She doesn't have anyone else to take care of the children for her, Your Honor. I know that she has an outstanding case, but those are just allegations. She has not been convicted of anything, Your Honor. Based on that, and given her circumstances, that she's unemployed and doesn't have a consistent source of income, I'll ask the court to consider giving her a signature bond. She is fine with no further contact with the alleged victim, Your Honor, and they do not share children.
All right. Bond is set at $2,500. It is a surety bond. Next court date is September 1st. No further contact with Christopher Overton.
Your Honor, Christopher Overton right here speaking.
All right, and that's lovely, but all I see is a picture of a man with a red.
I'm sorry.
I need to see a video.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. If you want to say something, I need to place you under oath, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand. Do you
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you live at 1783 Johnson Road?
No, ma'am.
All right, so you do not live at that location, which is
No,
good.
ma'am.
All right. Do you share any children with Miss Anderson?
No, ma'am.
All right. That's really all I needed to know from you.
I just wanted to state that you know, what she's been accused of is not my doing, it's not my calling. I didn't call the police, and the police also asked did I want to press charges or whatever like that, and I denied anything because I wasn't physically really harmed in the situation that had occurred. And I just want to let the court know that she do has children, and they're currently going to school, and they need their moms and stuff like that. And like I said, I don't stay there, so having no contact or us not having contact is, you know, that's possible. But like I said, I don't want to press charges, and I don't want to see her in there.
Okay, well. So I'm looking at the warrant, and I'm looking at the sworn testimony by the officer, and I do appreciate your input, sir. All right, thank you. You may mute your screen. As I was saying, the bond is set at $2,500. It is a surety bond. Next court date is September 1st. No further contact with Christopher Overton. She has to stay 200 yards away from Mr. Overton and not communicate with him in any way, form, or manner. She may return to the 1783 Johnson Road location, and there shall be no alcohol, no drugs, and no weapons or firearms. She will report to court, make sure her address is current at all times, and report to court when summoned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Position 6, Clemens.
Zakia Clemens is charged with simple battery domestic violence from August 9th, 2022. Looks like there is a co-defendant in this case, Reginald Bryant. Is there a Reginald Bryant in the room?
I think he's a false defendant.
Yes, he's in here.
Hey.
All right.
Stand right.
Yeah, just a little closer, Francois, just a tad. Thank you. Perfect. Stop. Thank you. All right. So these, I'm not sure if he's a cross-defendant or co-defendant. Let's see. Ms. Zakia Clemens is accused of simple battery domestic violence, as I was saying, from August 9, 2022.
Your Honor, if I can jump in, we're going to amend the accusation. The date of the offense for Ms. Clemens was actually August 17th, and they
Thank
are
you.
cross defendants. Sure.
Okay, that makes sense then, because I was a little perplexed by the dates. Okay. So the alleged offense date is August 17th, 2022. Mr. Reginald Bryant, his case number is 22 CR 0055118B, and he's charged with battery domestic violence, also from the same incident date, August 17th, 2022. You have both been advised of your right to remain silent. Ms. Zakia Clemens, your attorney is going to be Ms. Maureen McLeod. And Mr. Reginald Bryant, your attorney, was it going to be Ms. Gant or Ms. Kim?
It will be Ms. Gant, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Wanda Gant, are you present?
She was here. I'll text her.
All right. All right, while Ms. Wanda Gant, so I'll address Ms. Clemens while Ms. Wanda Gant appears. All right, Tucson, may I have just the priors for Zakia Clemens?
Second arrest. Last was 2019 for shoplifting. That's out of Griffin. She got a warrant out of Griffin for FTA for that shoplifting.
All right. Okay, Ms. Reed, do you have any comment about Ms. Clemens?
Thank you, Your Honor. On Ms. Clements, we are requesting a $2,000 surety bond, a stay away from the incident location. We understand that's defendant Bryant's home. No further contact with Mr. Bryant. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, and a third-party transfer and a one-day anger awareness course.
Right. Thank you. And Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 29 years old. She is a native of Atlanta. She is currently employed. She is a mother of 3 children, 8, 2, and 1-year-old. The 1-year-old she shares with Mr. Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
Your Honor, my client denies that she was the aggressor in all of this. She tells me that she went to pick up the 2 younger children from Mr. Bryant, who was keeping them at the time, and he became aggressive with her. They got into an argument. He became aggressive. He hit her in the mouth, and she has damage to her lips, and she was just defending herself, and they were both arrested. My client has no violent history. She has something which is totally unrelated, and she does have that FDA, Your Honor, but she was unaware that she had a court appearance in Griffin, and that is the basis of the FTA. She doesn't have a violent history, and she's 29 years old. Based on that, I would ask the court to give her a signature bond so she can get out and look after her 3 really small children, Your Honor, and get on with her job because she is also employed. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, the state's requesting a stay away condition, and further, there's been a lack of sufficient cooling off period between the parties. We just want you to take that in consideration. Just
stay away from 2174 J Place something, Atlanta, Georgia.
She's okay with that, Your Honor. They do not live together. That is where the father lives.
That always works
The
well.
youngest child.
Okay. Ms. Zakia Clemens, your bond is going to be set at $2,500. That's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. After today, you're to have no further contact with Reginald Bryant. You are to stay 200 yards away from him. You're not to communicate with him in person, not through a third party, not through a phone, electronic device, social media. No communication after today. After today, the deputies will make sure that you are both separated and at least 200 yards apart. Do you understand? You are to also stay away from 2174 J Place in Atlanta, Georgia. You're not to return to that location at all. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons. And while you're on pretrial, you will complete a one-day anger awareness program. And it's really up to Ms. Clemens. It's your responsibility. After today, Mr. Clemens is not to have any contact with any of the 3 children that you have. Do you understand? And that will be explained to him later on. But he's not to have any contact with any of the 3 children that you have.
Your Honor, I believe they share a child.
Oh, we'll address that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
All right. That concludes Ms. Clemens. Francois, we can
That's
have a.
per judge.
Yes, and that's per judge. Thank you. Oh, yes, Ms. Clemens, you're going to have to go to Griffin and address that outstanding warrant you have out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hold on, Mr. Bryant. They gotta do your bond.
All right, Mr. Bryant, you may have a seat. Mr. Tucson, you are represented by Ms. Wanda Gant, and this is Reginald Bryant. His attorney is Wanda Gant. Ms. Gant, if you could please wave your hand in front of the screen. Do you see her? All right, I guess he sees you. All right. Do you unmute courtroom 2? Did you see your attorney on the screen?
She's talking to you.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Mr. Tucson, any priors on Reginald Bryant?
Second arrest, 2012 trespass.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Reed?
Thank you, Your Honor. The defendant Clemens called 911 stating that defendant Bryant struck her in the face, and that resulted in a busted lip. I think we addressed a lot of the facts with Ms. Clemens and her outstanding warrant, but again, I just want to reiterate that there has been a lack of sufficient cooling off period between the parties. And for that reason, on this case, Your Honor, we're asking for a $3,500 surety bond, no further contact, third-party transfer, no drugs or alcohol or weapons while out on bond, in a 1-day anger awareness course. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Reginald Bryant is 30 years old. He's born and raised in Atlanta. He shares a 1-year-old with the complaining witness, Mrs. Zakia Clement, who is the cross defendant. He also has 2 other minor children, ages 6 and 4. He informs me that he actually assists Ms. Clemens with with childcare while she works. He is unemployed at this time. He's looking for a job. He does not have the means to pay anything toward bond. I would ask the court for a no violent contact order in light of that. However, we will defer to the court's ruling. Mr. Bryant completed high school, and again, he is unemployed. He denies the allegations, Your Honor, and I would just point out that my client offers a competing version along with the warrant. The warrant reads that Ms. Clemens, the complaining witness, actually came to his house, pushed her way into the bedroom and struck him first, Your Honor. My client does not have any prior convictions for violence. He does not have any FTAs. His history is remote for criminal trespass in 2012. I am requesting a signature bond as he is recommended, Your Honor. And again, we are requesting a no violent contact order and a third-party transfer. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Bryant, you are charged with battery domestic violence. If you are convicted of this offense, any subsequent battery offense, domestic violence, will be a felony. So I highly recommend that you take this very, very seriously. Your bond is going to be set at $4,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. After today, you're to have no further contact with Zakia Clemens and no further contact with the 3 minor children, including the one that you share with Ms. Clemens. If you wish to have visitation and custody of the child with whom you share with Ms. Clemens, you must file a separate legitimation action in the appropriate superior court to get a court order establishing visitation and custody through a third party. You are to stay away from 1827 Honeysuckle Lane, which I believe is where Ms. Clemens lives. If she lives at a different location, you cannot return to that location. No alcohol, drugs, and weapons. You may return to your house at 2174 J Lane in Atlanta, Georgia. Your next court date will be sent to you at this address. While you are out on a pretrial bond, you will also attend and complete a 1-day anger awareness program. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 2, Andrews.
Chandra Andrews, 22 CR 005515A, accused of theft by taking on December 25th, 2019. Ms. Andrews, this is a misdemeanor charge, and you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Wanda Gant. Mr. Toussaint, any priors?
18 total,
Did you say 15 or 18?
18.
18, okay.
Last was 2020 theft by receiving dismissed. 2017 probation for shoplifting. She had a 2016 shoplifting conviction. 2017 shoplifting arrest. 2012 shoplifting conviction. 2011 theft by taking motor vehicle. It was not presented to grand jury. 2009, 2008 probation forgery in the first. 05 probation forgery. She has some deposit account fraud from the early 2000s.
All right, thank you. Ms. Reed, or Mr. Segura, excuse me.
In this case, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 signature bond with the conditions of no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, a stay away from 585 McWilliams Road, Atlanta, and no further contact with Shanique Cameron. Shanique spelled SHINAQUE, Cameron, common spelling. And we want to emphasize the need for the stay away, as in this case, defendant did take a PlayStation phone, which was his Cameron's Christmas gift for his son, and she left the residence with it. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Chandra Andrews is 48 years old. She has been in the Atlanta area her entire life. She has 3 children, ages 31, 30, and 29. And of course, the complaining witness, Ms. Shaniqua Cameron, is one of her daughters. She also is the mother of a son who was murdered back in November of 2020. Ms. Andrews is the primary caregiver for that 12-year-old child. She tells me that her grandchild's mother is sick and unable to care for that child. That's why she has stepped in light of her son's murder. She also has 8 grandchildren. Her daughter, Miss Cameron, I did speak to her. She told me that she would be on the Zoom call today to address the court. She doesn't have the means to assist Miss Andrews with bond. She has 3 children that she's raising on her own. Your Honor, the parties no longer live at 585, and I will update I do not have Ms. Cameron's address, but I do have my client's address, and she informs me that they do not live together at this time with she does not live with Ms. Cameron at this time, Your Honor. Ms. Andrews completed the 11th grade. She went on to obtain a GED. She is a certified nursing assistant, and she has been unemployed for a period of time. She tells me that she had some struggles in the past with substance abuse, but she has been clean and sober for a while. She has a new job as a private duty nurse. She denies the allegations. She's presumed innocent. This is an incident that happened back in 2019. We do have some concerns about statute of limitations on this case, Your Honor. I do acknowledge my client's history. However, what I heard from pretrial is that her most recent conviction is 2016. The report that I received today states that she is eligible for a signature bond. If I heard the state correctly, they in fact recommended a $2,000 signature bond. We are opposed to the no contact order, as Ms. Cameron informed me that she wants to have contact with her daughter, and I would just ask the court to take into consideration, given the family circumstances, that Your Honor would allow contact. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is Shaniqua Cameron on the Zoom?
Yes, I'm here.
You need to start your video.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ms. Cameron, my name is Judge Law. May I ask you some questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This happened two Christmases ago.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And have you, and she is your mother?
Yes, that's my mother.
Okay. And have things gotten back to, are you also?
Yes, it's normal. I mean, we took care of that. That's why I thought they had dropped
Has
it.
the item been returned to you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Thank you. You may mute your screen. Bond is going to be set at $2,000. It's a signature bond through the jail. Her next court date will be sent to her address. We need a good address. Ms. Gant, as soon as you get one, we need to update it with the court. Ms. Andrews?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to grant you a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, which means that you don't have to pay for your bond. But if you get arrested again for anything else, this signature bond will be revoked. And the next time, bring $2,000 with you. And you can go to jail. You have a history of crimes of what we call moral turpitude, forgery, theft by shoplifting, and so forth. So by the grace that your daughter appeared to testify on your behalf, which is why you're getting a signature bond through the jail. Understood?
Understood.
But if you want to give up on that signature bond, that's all on you. We need your new address. You need to update the court with your new address by coming down to 160 Friar Street to the clerk's office and updating your address, your phone number, and email as soon as possible within the next 30 days.
I will.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, I will place in the chat the information that I have regarding her address
Okay.
and contact information. To whom shall I address that? To
Holly Bridgewater.
Holly Bridgewater. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And that's no further violent contact.
Yeah, no further, no, well, it's a theft, so I don't need for any contact provision.
Okay.
Okay, next case, please.
We also had an alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
Sorry, Mr. Segura, what did you say?
We also had an alcohol, drugs, and weapons filed on bond.
Yeah, we normally put that. It's,
I have it.
I've got that in there. Thank you. Police station. And who do we have, please?
Position 11, Norris.
Luke Norris is accused of driving under the influence of alcohol per se, which means an alleged concentration of 0.08 grams of alcohol content found within the bloodstream within 3 hours or more, operating without lights as required by law, and driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. That is from August 17th, 2020. Mr. Norris, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Any priors, Mr. Tucson?
This is first arrest. The GCIC got serious injury by vehicle on here. 2 counts.
All right, so meaning first DUI arrest or just first arrest altogether?
Altogether.
All right, thank you. Mr. I'm not trying to, is it Miss Reed or Miss King or Mr. Segura? Miss King, oh no, Miss King? Who's our prosecutor?
You said position 11, correct?
Correct. Miss King?
It is not, Your Honor, Norris Luke. Let me see.
Miss Reed?
I apologize, Your Honor. You said
Johnson,
Norris
no
Luke.
problem. Okay, we are dealing with Luke Norris, 2 counts of DUI, 1 count of no headlights.
Yes, Your Honor. I have the date of offense is August 17th, 2022. Location, McGinnis Ferry Road. Your Honor, police observed the defendant operating his vehicle at night in the rain with no lights on McGinnis Ferry Road. The officer performed a traffic stop. The officer noted that the defendant's eyes were bloodshot and watery. The officer smelled the odor of an alcoholic beverage on the defendant's person. The defendant agreed to take a breath test, and the results revealed his alcohol content to be more than 0.08 grams. Your Honor, we are quite concerned. This did happen late at night. He put himself in danger and others by driving in the rain with no lights on. For that reason, Your Honor, we are asking for a $6,500 split bond, $3,000 surety on the per se, $3,000 signature on, $3,000 surety on the left safe, and $500 surety on no lights.
So 500 on lights, 3,000 on less safe, and what was it on the per se?
3,000 signature on left safe.
3,000 signature on the per se, okay.
And also no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no driving.
Okay. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Luke Norris is 47 years old. and he has been here in Georgia for last.
Just 1 second, please. Just 1 second, please. Ms. Fleming, this is an open court, and you do not post that kind of information on the chat for everyone to read. I will have you removed from the Zoom if you post this information again. Do you understand? I apologize, Ms. Kim. Please give me the bond recommendation for Mr. Norris.
Yes, I would like to request for a signature on bond, since this is his first offense ever. He has been here in Georgia for 3 years, and he has 3 children, 6, 8, and 10 years old. They're all minor, and he takes care of them 40% of the time, paying for their child support. He has he's gainfully employed at Trident as a project manager. It is a commercial construction company. He has been working there for 3 years, and also he has a master's degree from college. And also he worked at Navy from 1997 to 2005, 8 years. We would like to request for a signature on bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Norris, I do understand that this is your first arrest for DUI. On the DUI under the influence of alcohol less safe, I'm going to accept the state's recommendation of $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. On the operating without a headlights, it's going to be $500 signature bond through pretrial services. On the DUI less safe, that's going to be a $1,500 surety bond, which means that your total bond is $5,000, out of which you have to post bond on the $1,500 portion. Okay. Mr. Jordan, please remove Karen Fleming from the Zoom.
Your Honor, if I may.
Just a minute. This is ridiculous.
No, I understand, Your Honor. I believe, and I will have our victim advocate reach out to her by phone. We've been trying to contact her earlier and contacted her through direct message. I think Ms. Fleming may not know that there was a difference between direct messaging and messaging to the group chat.
That's correct, Your Honor. She was likely responding to me, and I told Ms. Fleming that once we were together, that I would explain to you what happened. So I'm sorry.
Y'all can call her, but she's not allowed back in the Zoom.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay, I'm so sorry. And as I was saying, Mr. Norris, you are going to pay on the $1,500 portion. So when you go to a bonding company, they normally charge 10 to 15% of the bond amount. So you would be paying anywhere between $150 to $225 for that portion. Do you understand? Okay. When you'll be reporting to pretrial services once a month, you're not to consume any alcohol, no illegal drugs, and not, that's it, no illegal drugs and no alcohol. You may be subject to random screens. No driving unless you have the requisite permission from the Department of Driver Services. When you are charged with DUI, the Department of Driver Services only allows you to drive for the next 30 days unless you file the proper appeal with the Department of Driver Services. You would need to consult with your attorney on how to make sure that you can have driving privileges past the 30 days. Understood? Okay.
Your Honor, just to be clear, you did the $3,000 signature bond on the DUI less safe or the DUI period? I just want to make sure I have it written down correctly.
I gave the signature bond on per se.
Okay.
Did you want it reversed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. Okay. It's 3,000. Let me just reverse that. Also on the per se is 1,500 surety. And on the less safe is the 3,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Norris, your next court date is September 1st. If you make bond, then you do not need to return on September 1st. We will send you a notice for a different court date, and it will be sent to your current mailing address.
Can I request that the
No.
attorney, Jim, call?
I'll call you and I'll ask you. I'll explain to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, did you also add no alcohol, drugs, or weapons?
Yes. No alcohol and drug. I don't think weapons is on there. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
So Judge Law, because on my 3 card, I don't have all the charges on there. The operating is 500 signature bond through the jail.
Well, I'll repeat it again. DUI, the concentration of 0.08 grams, which is the per se charge, that's going to be a $1,500 surety bond. Operating without headlights is 500 signature bond for pretrial. DUI, less safe, is going to be 3,000 signature bond for pretrial. The total is 5,000 split.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This one is
Yeah,
not.
you can have a seat.
I'll give that to Melissa.
Position 3, Mr. Beaver.
Samuel Martin Beaver is accused of battery, domestic violence. Mr. Beaver is an allegation of the charge from August 17th this year in Fulton County, Georgia. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. McLeod. Any priors, Tucson?
13 total. History out of Jersey, Maryland, Alabama, Pennsylvania. Last arrest was back in January for battery. He got an open case in state court, 22 CR 001-989A. DUI, following too closely. Possession of an alcohol container. Open simple battery in state court, 22 CR 002-938A as an apple.
I'm sorry, 22, was that 22 CR or 20 CR?
22.
22 CR, repeat that number again, 002?
938
Okay,
A as an apple.
all right.
On probation and called 3 counts of ag assault and simple battery.
How long is the probation?
I was getting to it.
I'm sorry.
In 2016, they gave him 3 years to serve, 8 years probation.
Okay, got it.
Thank
Thank you.
All right, that's enough.
That's good, thank you. Mr. Segura?
Thank you. Your Honor, with this case, the state is recommending a $5,000 cash bond with the conditions of 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, a stay away from the instant location of 201 Maury Avenue, Maury spelled M-O-U-R-Y Avenue, Southwest Atlanta, and no further contact Michelle Jones, a common spelling. In this case, police responded to a wound beating at this incident location in which they met with Ms. Jones, who stated that she was physically assaulted by the defendant. She stated that this all started before having the sniffles while he was asleep, and then served him cold breakfast. Resulted in he grabbing her, Ms. Jones, by the arms and then pinning her to the kitchen countertop. And this pinning, he also got on top of her, pinned her down to the bed, then asked for money back, which was in her bank account. In this case, Ms. Jones escaped, was able to run out the rear door at the residence to call the police. When police made contact, they saw the shot slight abrasions to both her wrists. And Your Honor, this is not the really, we spoke with Ms. Jones earlier today, in which she said that they're in a relationship, they do live together, but she's in deep fear of the defendant and wants no contact with him. Not only that, she said that this actually not, she said that the defendant also took her car keys and she's not sure where he put them. But they'd be concerned about the safety of Ms. Jones because it's not the only case that the defendant has with Ms. Jones. As Beatrice noted, in 2016 in Cobb County, which is case 16-902994, the defendant was found guilty of 3 counts of aggravated assault, 1 case of battery, and 1 case of simple battery family violence, in which because it does domestic dispute about the defendant having Ms. Jones' daughters moving out, the defendant slapped her, Ms. Jones, and then pointed a gun at both of Ms. Jones and her daughter. And because of this, the defendant was confined for 3 years and had probation of 8 years with the condition of no further violent contact with Ms. Jones, her daughters, or any family members. And not only that, and within that 8 years, the defendant committed this act. Not only this act, he also has an open case of Ms. Jones back in January, which is case 22 CR 000261G. In this case, this case was battery finding violence, which called when the defendant received a phone call from his child's mother, in which once the phone call ended, the defendant became angry and agitated. And so the defendant followed Ms. Jones to the bedroom, jumped on top of her, and then began to physically strike her in the face multiple times with a closed fist, resulting in injuries. In this case, she stated that she does fear the defendant again. She had a black eye and a swollen lip. And she was, in this case, the defendant was given a $4,000 good bond by Judge Mincy, which had an order of no further contact with Ms. Jones. Yet, a couple months later, he ignored that order and made contact with Ms. Jones again, then attacked her, leaving her with physical injuries.
I'm going to pause right there. This is from the 361, not 61. Is that correct? This is from the,
oh, yeah.
Was it December or something? Was it, January 2022 case?
Yeah, yes, that's, sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. I just want to make sure we're not talking about different cases. Okay, I'm following you, sir.
Yeah, in this case, Ms. Jones is actually on Zoom today, but we are asking for this cash bond because not only has he broken his probation from his 2016 case with Ms. Jones, he also has started a non-active violence back in January, and then also committed this case as well. So because of that, we're asking for this cash bond. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to wait until the alleged victim speaks if the court is going to hear from her, Your Honor.
All right, Michelle Jones, are you present? If so, could you please unmute your screen and start your video? All right, Ms. Jones, I'm not sure if your Wi-Fi is stable, but if you'd like to say something, I need to place you under oath.
Yes.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Do you live with Mr. Samuel Beaver?
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you been living with him since January of 2022?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you realize that this is in violation of a court order?
I had no idea that he was not supposed to see me because that was his, January 26th was his case. That was not mine.
I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
All right. Are you comfortable with him being back in the same household with you, although he's not supposed to be?
No, Your Honor, I am not. Mr. Beaver needs to go to rehab.
Okay, and that concludes this. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Your Honor. But can I ask a quick question?
Quick question.
I need to know what he did with my car keys. I can't lock my house and I can't drive my car.
Well, let's see what happens. Maybe he'll be able to tell his attorney that. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 51 years old. He has some college education. He is the father of 3 children, 10-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, and an 8-year-old daughter. He denies the allegations made by the complaining witness, Your Honor. He said that he owns a moving company. The alleged victim is the vice president. They had gone out on a move, and she was in one of the rooms in the house they were moving, and she fell. He was unaware that she had fallen. He was told that by another employee afterwards, and she sustained some injuries. And she called the police the following day and alleged that he had attacked her, when in fact he had not attacked her. My client doesn't have anyone who can bond him out. I have spoken to him about that possibility, Your Honor. He says he doesn't really have anyone in the Metro Atlanta area. It would be a huge hardship for him to put up a cash bond, Your Honor. So I would ask the court to consider giving him a surety bond and not a cash bond, so that he can bond out of jail. He would, well, the victim has already stated that she doesn't want any contact with him, and he understands that he would have to abide by that, Your Honor.
Well, I hope so. Didn't understand it last time. I've got another note here. I've got a George Thomas White, who's representing Mr. Beaver. So you might want to look into that, Ms. McLeod. It's a 404-730-5419 phone number for this.
I was not aware of that, Your Honor. That's the first time I'm hearing that. And I did speak to him earlier, so I did not know. I'd be happy to defer if he has a private attorney.
Okay. My biggest concern is the fact that he's got an open probation case involving alleged violence. Well, he's already been convicted of violent offenses. Then he's got this battery violence case involving the same victim as the present one from January 2022, where he was expressly ordered to have no contact with Michelle Jones. Now, it's not up to Ms. Jones to understand or interpret the order, but it's up to Mr. Samuel Beaver. He's the one responsible for understanding the terms of his bond order, and he has clearly violated the terms of that bond order. With regards to this case, this is another alleged offense. The bond is going to be set at $3,000. It's going to be a cash bond only. To stay 500 yards away from Michelle Jones, to stay 500 yards away from 201 Maury Avenue in Southwest Atlanta, Georgia. She's not to communicate with her directly or indirectly. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons. If he does make bond, I will require him to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program within 30 days of being released on bond, and he will complete that program at his expense. His next court date is going to be September 1st at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
3,000 cash.
Yes, sir.
Position 16, Mr. Wright, have a seat, sir. Position 16, Mr. Wright. Sir, right here, right here.
Okay.
If you folks don't listen to Deputy Francois, you'll be in trouble, because I know how to listen to her and keep on her good side. So Mr. Position 16 is Ellis Wendell Wright, accused of criminal trespass, August 17th, 2022. Mr. Wright, your case number is 22 CR 005524J. Mr. Wright, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim.
Yes.
And any priors, Mr. Howard?
17 total. Last arrest was 2014, driving without a valid license. He also has history out of Florida. Last arrest there was in the early 2000s though. You want the Florida history?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Miss King? Yes, Miss King?
Yes, this event occurred on yesterday. Officers responded to the BP gas station located at 1468 Holcomb Bridge Road. And the officer actually saw the defendant inside of the location on this date. The officer was also able to positively identify him as the person who received a criminal trespass warning for that exact location previously. There's currently a $2,000 surety in place. Surety bond in place, but due to his lack of criminal history, the state is requesting a $2,000 signature bond in this case and a stay away from that BP gas station and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Ms. Kim, can I confirm that the Spring Ridge Trace is still a valid mailing address, residential address for Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor. 320 Spring Ridge Trail.
All right.
Boswell.
Bond is set at $2,000. It's going to be a signature bond for pretrial services. And he's going to report once a month, and he's going to stay 100 yards away from the BP gas station at 1468 Holcomb Bridge Road. The officer has apparently given you a warning, and now you have a court order requiring you to stay away from that BP gas station. You cannot be at the station. You cannot be in the parking lot. You cannot be where they pump gas, and definitely not on the sidewalk. Any problem with that, Mr. Wright?
No problem.
Okay, we will send you notice of when to come back to court, and that notice will be sent to your Spring Ridge Trace location. If you fail to show up, we're gonna have to send you a special invite back to jail. It's called a warrant, okay?
That's it.
Thank you.
Did you say?
Thank you, Your
Sue
Honor.
Johnson, signature bond 312.
You can sit back over there.
Gateway.
Position 14, Stills. Do not sit on the front row. No.
John Lawrence Stills or Stiles? Is
Styles.
accused of reckless driving and speeding. Oh, I haven't seen an arrest. Okay. August 17, 2022. Mr. Stiles, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim. And
First arrest.
Mr. Arrest. Any open cases right now?
This is traffic. I don't know. I got first arrest.
Okay.
I mean, state may have a driving history.
We do, Your Honor. He has a speeding conviction from 2021 and an improper erratic lane change. He pled nolo. That was in March of this year.
All right. What do you recommend for these charges?
$555 surety bond. The state just requested it remains as set, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
I'm sorry, repeat that again. How much for the reckless and how much for the speeding?
It is $1,000 for the reckless, and for the speeding is $555. That's
555. Okay, got it. Miss Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. John Stiles is 19 years old, Your Honor. And this is traffic issues. And he's actually going to school. It is actually Georgia Technical College. He's studying cyber security major, and his GPA is about 3.0. He's been doing it, and he's right now upcoming sophomore, and he's been working at Amazon for the last 4 years as well. However, he's still full-time student. He does not have much funds. We would like to request for signature on bond because these are traffic violences. And this is first time I actually saw anybody getting arrested for traffic violences. Usually they just get citations and let them go. However, we would like to request, he is here in the jail. We would like to request for a signature on bond. Thank you.
No, you're absolutely right, Miss Kim. I'm a little puzzled. What led to an arrest in this case with no warrants?
The officer stated that he was going, twice the speed limit. He was going 108. He was clocked going 108 and a 55. And I guess due to the recklessness of that is why he decided to detain Mr.
109, according to the police report, but I don't know what he was cited with. Well, okay. Well, anyone can get arrested for a misdemeanor offense in the state of Georgia. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's rather unusual for an individual to be arrested on a first traffic violation unless things just went south of the border during the interaction with the officer. On the reckless driving, it's $1,000 signature bond through the jail. On the speeding, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. That's a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Mr. Stiles, this case is already accused, so we will send you notice to when you need to come back to court. Please be mindful of your speed and the nature of your driving. At your age, unless your dad is Rockefeller, your insurance rates are going to be the kind of figures that I don't want to deal with.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir. Thank you.
Judge Law.
Come on, Mr. Brown.
Judge Law.
Yes, Ms. Gant.
Prior to proceeding to the next case, Your Honor, I would ask if we could revisit position 10, Jamaria Howard's. Your Honor, I have been unable to contact her mother, Miss Shirley Howard, and I received some information from Miss Johnson that they may in fact be estranged. I was able to speak to Kimmy Colbreth. She is the godmother of Ms. Howard. I spoke to her. She is willing to co-sign for her, and she is also on the Zoom call to verify that, Your Honor.
Kimmy Colbreth, with this position number 10 for young Miss Jamaria Howard.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, can you start your video, please?
Yes, hold on. Yes, ma'am.
All right, and is that how I spell your name? K-I-M-I?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you spell your last name?
It's C-U-L-B-R-E-A-T-H.
And what's your relationship with Miss Howard?
I am her godmother. We
All
both
right.
are estranged from her mother.
All right. And does Miss Howard live with Shirley Howard?
Yes, she does.
Okay. I'll allow you, Miss Colbreth, Miss Jamaria Howard needs a parental or an adult relative co-signer. If you want to
Yes.
come down to pretrial services, you can sign up for this bond. Mr. Tucson, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to amend that waiver form to either allow Shirley Howard or Kimmy Colbreth to co-sign the bond.
So it's either or?
Either or, yeah. Okay,
And how long will I have till today to get down there? Because I don't
Miss
have a
Colbreth,
vehicle.
this is one of those unusual circumstances where you get to decide how long Jamaria stays in jail. So if you want to take your time, that's how long she will stay in jail.
Okay.
And
Entirely
Ms.
up
Colbreth,
to
I'll
you.
call you also.
'Cause
I'll give you some
I'm-
information.
Yeah, because I'm not even sure of the charges as of right now. I just know what I
I'll
was
give
told
you a
by.
call.
Okay.
Please, I'll give you a call. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Okay.
got till 10 o'clock. Otherwise, tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, there we go. I put the notation at the top.
Okay.
Next case, please.
This is position 4, Brown.
And Your Honor, again, I do apologize for interrupting. If I may,
Yeah.
let the court know that the state has offered Mr. Brown a plea. I have spoken to Mr. Brown and advised him that I am appointed and prepared to represent him for a bond hearing today, and that I cannot, because I do not have sufficient information to fulfill my ethical duties to represent him for a plea. I have explained that to him along with his rights, and he wants and feels comfortable proceeding pro se.
Okay. Francois, have you dealt with all the other cases?
No, we still have other cases left. We have.
All right. Mr. Ronnie Brown, my name is Judge Lal, and you've been accused of criminal trespass in case number 22 CR 005517E. You have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case, and anything you say about the facts of the case, those statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one would be appointed to represent you. Presently, Wanda Gant from the Public Defender's Office is an attorney, and she has been discussing the case with you. And in her professional legal opinion, it would be advisable not to take the plea and instead proceed with a bond hearing. However, since she has been representing you up to this point, I have to decide whether I'm going to let her withdraw from the case and let you represent yourself. Do you feel comfortable representing yourself? Or would you like an attorney to represent you?
Yes, ma'am. I feel comfortable representing myself to take the plea. I mean,
All right, if you are comfortable representing yourself, please understand that you are responsible for understanding how the law applies to the facts of your case, how any legal decision you make will have an impact upon your particular situation, upon any other open cases you may have. Do you still want to proceed with representing yourself?
yes, ma'am.
All right, please have a seat. I'm going to address all the other cases. All right, Mr. Wondergant, you are permitted to withdraw from the case. And Mr. Segura, you have to email all the documents, including waiver of counsel, to someone at the jail so they can print it out and have Mr. Brown review it, and make sure that he signs everything. If all the documentation is not signed properly, I'm just going to reset the case for another date to take a plea.
Okay, I could get information as to who in the jail should I send it to?
Francois, can you put the email in the chat to Mr. Segura?
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you, Your Honor.
What's the next case in courtroom 2?
The Shania Gant.
Mr. Lamont Gant is accused of battery, domestic violence, and 2 counts of cruelty in the 3rd degree from August 16, 2022. Mr. Gant, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Wanda Gant. Any priors, please?
Second arrest, 2015, suspended license.
Suspended license. Okay, thank you. Ms. Johnson?
Thank you, Your Honor. The date of offense is August 16th, 2022. The location, excuse me, is 3206 Spanish Trail Southwest, apartment 10 in East Point. Miss Elijah Shears, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Her name is spelled Alijah, last name Shears, Shears. And it's my understanding she is also present on Zoom. Ms. Shears and the defendant live together and share a minor child. Ms. Shears stated that the defendant nudged her in her chest with his shoulder repeatedly and punched her in the face with his closed fist, causing visible bruising to the left eye. 2 children were present during the incident. One of the children is not the defendant's. They do share a minor child, but she has another child, Your Honor.
But it's not his.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
We are asking for a $4,000 surety bond, $3,000 for battery, and $500 per cruelty. No further contact. Stay away from the incident location. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and third-party transfer of any minor children.
What are the initials of the child that they do share? If you can identify that.
I can get that. I want to say it's. Let me confirm that.
All right. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Lamont Gant, Mr. Lamont Gant Jr. is 26 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He shares an 8-month-old child with the complaining witness, Ms. Elijah Shears. He also has 2 other children, ages 2 years and 8 months. He also, Your Honor, has a 6-year-old child that he does not share with Ms. Shears. Your Honor, we are opposed to the stay away. I did have the occasion to speak to Ms. Shears. She wants to address the court today regarding her wish for contact. I am asking the court for a no violent contact order and of course, no stay away order. Mr. Gant obtained a high school diploma. He is currently employed as an armed security officer. He has been employed in armed security services for the last 3 or 4 years. So we would ask that any restrictions regarding drugs, alcohol, and weapons be limited, that he be permitted to carry a firearm for employment purposes to continue in his present job. Your Honor, my client denies the allegations. He does not have any.
I'm sorry, he wants to carry a firearm and he's charged with a domestic violence case?
No, Your Honor, what I am saying is that my client is employed as an armed security officer.
He's not, no. I am not authorizing him to carry. That's something he's going to have to deal with his employer.
Okay, all right.
This is DV. This is not a, ring around the roses.
We certainly will defer to the court's ruling, Your Honor. It's just a part of my argument. And if I may proceed, Your Honor,
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I am requesting a signature bond as this is his second arrest only. He is presumed innocent. Again, these are allegations which my client denies. Your Honor, he has an arrest back in 2015 for a driving offense. He is recommended for a signature bond, and I am requesting a signature bond on his behalf. And again, we are opposed to any stay away and no contact orders, and we would defer to the court's ruling regarding the bond conditions, Your Honor.
Elijah Shears, if you want to address the court, you need to unmute your screen and start your video.
Your Honor, while we're waiting, Okay, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and.
I got the initials. Is AG.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, Ms. Shears, you need to start your video and unmute your screen. If you want to address the court. All right, and unmute.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Okay. Ms. Shears, if you please raise your right hand. If you want to testify, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, if you can just keep the phone level because it's going up and down. Okay. So this is an incident that just happened 2 days ago.
Yes.
And what would you like to tell us in terms of contact and having him back in the house?
We're actually moving soon, so staying together is like not a problem, but I do need contact. He's a great dad and my kids need him, so I do need contact with him.
The allegation is that this altercation happened in front of the children.
Yes. It was a heated situation that didn't need to go where it went.
Okay, understood. Are there any firearms in the home?
Yes.
How many?
I think 4.
To whom do they belong?
3 belong to him, 1 belongs to me.
All right. Anything else you'd like to tell me?
No, he's not. Well, I'll say he's not a violent person. And I will admit to being aggressive first, because I did spit on him. And that's
what was the reaction?
That's when everything got a little heated.
So what was the reaction after you spat on him?
He pushed me and kind of knocked my head a little, which was what she stated.
Okay.
And
Right,
again,
Ms. Shears, I'm so sorry. Yes, Ms. Fogant, what do you want to say?
And again, Your Honor, my client vehemently denies the allegations. I would just bring that back to the court's attention, Your Honor.
I'm not questioning your client. I'm questioning the alleged victim. All right, Ms. Shears, if you have nothing else to add, I'll move on.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Lamont Gant, being charged with a domestic violence situation, especially considering your current state of employment, is an extremely serious matter. Domestic violence adds a whole different layer to cases than just regular cases involving violence. On the battery domestic violence, your bond is going to be set at $5,000. On the cruelty, it's going to be $1,000 each. Your total bond is going to be $7,000 signature bond through pretrial services. You qualify for a signature bond because you have a minimal criminal history record. However, this comes with some serious conditions. And if you've been listening to the prior cases, you have to comply with these conditions. Otherwise, the consequences further down the road become so much more difficult, including an imposition of a cash bond only. Do you understand? You have to have no further contact with Elijah Shears, no further contact with the children that she has, including the minor child, AG. If you wish to seek custody or visitation of the child with whom you share with Ms. Shears, AG, you would need to file a separate legitimation action with the Superior Court and obtain a court order to establish visitation and custody. You are not to possess any firearms, no firearms. You must confer that with your employer and explain to them that you are under a court order to not possess any firearms. If the court finds out that you are continuing your employment and in possession of a firearm, you will risk the revocation of your bond in its entirety. You're not to return to the 3206 Spanish Trail, East Point location. You're not allowed to live with Ms. Shears and her children. Within 30 days of being released, you are to inform the court of your new address. Again, no illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. You may return to the Spanish Trail location one time only with a police officer to retrieve your personal belongings, but you are not allowed to retrieve any firearms. Do you understand, Mr. Gant?
Yeah.
Your next court date will be sent to you at whatever mailing address you provide the court. So within 30 days of being released, you are to provide the court with a current mailing address. You are to attend and complete a one-day anger awareness program with pretrial services. If you fail to report to pretrial, if you get arrested again, or if you violate any of the conditions of the bond, your bond will be converted to either what we call a surety bond or a cash bond only. Like I said, when it comes to domestic violence, it's a whole different ballgame. The question, you put the decision of how you conduct your life with the court, at least temporarily. Thank you.
And Your Honor, if I may you add a one-time law enforcement escort so that
I did.
his belongings?
I did. He can retrieve his personal belongings except any weapons and firearms.
Thank
you. And just for the record, I just want to note the state's objection to a signature bond, Your Honor.
Understood. Noted.
Your Honor, this is the victim advocate. Could we get a good phone number for Ms. Shears?
All right. Ms. Shears, Beverly Andrews on the Zoom.
Your Honor, I have it. I'm happy to place it in the chat.
Okay, please place it directly to Ms. Beverly Andrews. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That concludes the case with Mr. Gant.
Done. Right. Position 12, Rucker.
Cedric Rucker is accused of simple battery and criminal trespass causing damage to property on June 5th, 2022. Mr. Rucker, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim. Any priors, Mr. Tucson?
No.
Ms. Reed? Is it Ms. Reed? Oh,
It's gonna be me again, Ms. Johnson.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have the date of offense is June 5th, 2022. The location being 3815 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Northwest, and I believe it's a unit G11. I have the victim as Marquisa Harris. That name is M-A-R-K-I-S-S-A, last name Harris. Your Honor, this case, the defendant struck Ms. Harris in the back of her head multiple times with a closed fist. The defendant's mother, Ms. Ivane Rucker, I-V-A-N-E Rucker, attempted to cover Ms. Harris to stop the attack. The defendant then took Ms. Harris's cell phone and threw it to the ground, causing the screen to crack. The defendant admitted to both actions with the police officer. Your Honor, this case gives us a lot of concern. Not only did he have these actions against Ms. Harris, but also his mother being there present trying to stop the attack was unable to stop it. She stood in the way to stop the attack and he resulted to getting her items. Your Honor, for this case, we will ask for $2,500 surety bond, $2,000 on the simple and $500 on the criminal trespass damage to property, a stay away from the incident location, no further contact whatsoever, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and one-day anger awareness. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm so sorry. I'm just looking at the address. I've got a Martin Luther King, which is different from the accused. So they don't live together, correct?
Correct, Your Honor. They don't live together.
All right, but it is the defendant's mother living there? I'm a little confused.
Eastern location is actually Marquisa Harris, her place.
Okay, it's her place. All right.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Kim, what would you like to tell me?
Yes, we would like to recommend for a signature on bond. This is his first arrest ever. Mr. Rucker is 19 years old, Your Honor, and he is currently enrolled at Strayer University. He is trying to get his accounting business major, and he started January 2022. It was kind of a little bit late registration. However, he is studying hard and full-time. He does not have any job. He resides with his mother and his brother who has a special needs. So her mother and takes care of these two children, and their financial situation is very tight at this point. We would like to request for signature on bond, Your Honor. Thank you. And this happened 2 months ago, Your Honor, and we don't have any objection to stay away, nor no further contact. Thank you.
All right. Can we unmute courtroom 2? Mr. Rucker, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say, your statements can and will be used against you. I've already advised you that you have a right to an attorney, and Ms. Kim will be representing you. You're very fortunate that the officer muted courtroom 2, because trying to challenge the statements of Ms. Johnson and speaking verbally about the case, all you're going to end up doing is incriminating yourself and making it very difficult for your attorney to represent you. Do you understand? Your bond is going to be set on the simple battery. It's going to be $2,000. On the criminal trespass, it's $1,000. That's a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. You are to have no further contact with Marquisa Harris. You're not to return to the Martin Luther King address where Ms. Harris lives. You have to stay 200 yards away from her. Do not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. You will report to pretrial once a month, and you will attend and complete the one-day anger awareness program offered by pretrial. Your next court date will be sent to you. Is your current address something called Cell Avenue or something like that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Your next court date will be sent to that address. And if you change your address, make sure that the first agency you notify is the court. Understood?
Yes.
All right. Good luck with your education. Thank you.
And Your Honor, just a note for the record, we do object to the signature bond, Your Honor.
Noted. Thank you.
Position 17, Young.
Rontavious Young is accused of fair evasion and criminal trespass from August 17th, 2022. Mr. Young, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim. And Mr. Tucson, can I confirm there are 1, 2, 3, 4 open cases right now?
I don't know how many.
I have 5, Your Honor.
You got how many?
I have 5 open.
Oh.
What's the 5th one?
I have a burglary out of Clayton County, obstruction criminal trespass from MARTA, a criminal trespass shoplifting here, 22 CR 001-735G. I have a theft of services here that's actually in diversion, 22 CR 004-595G, and a possession and use of drug-related objects and shoplifting out of Union City.
And he on probation for robbery out of Clayton County.
Thank you. All right. And Ms. King, what are you recommending for a bond?
There's currently a 1,000 surety in place, but I'm requesting a 4,000 surety due to the quantity of open cases, as well as so many current convictions, 1, 2, 3, in the last year, Your Honor, 1 for fair evasion, 1 for shoplifting, 1 for disorderly conduct. This shows the defendant has no regard for the law, no regard for bond conditions, which makes him a threat to the safety of those citizens of Fulton County. I'm also asking for a stay away from the East Point MARTA station located at 2848 Main Street, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Furthermore, he has a current suspension with MARTA that expires on 8/24, which is why I'm asking for the stay away so that it can be extended past the expiration of the current suspension.
Right, I see that a couple of cases, he took a plea back in August. Last
Correct.
year. So I'm not sure. 8-9 was a plea, 9-0 was a plea. Don't know about 7-3-5. That's an
Yeah.
arraignment before Judge Taylor.
Correct.
Okay.
There's three for Judge Taylor: the fair evasion, shoplifting, and disorderly conduct. I have the case numbers if Your Honor would.
I have the one ending in 7-3-5 and 8-5-1G. What was the other one?
That were open?
Yeah.
Or 735G and 22CR 004595G. That's
Repeat that. 22CR
04595G.
59.
And he's currently in diversion for that case here.
All right, the 8-5-1G looks like he took a plea on March 3rd, 22.
Correct. As well as the fair evasion and the disorderly conduct. He pled out to those recently.
All right, okay. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Young is 31 years old, and he has been here in Georgia for whole his life. His parents and siblings reside here. He's not a flight risk. He has a ties to community. He has been working as a forklift operator for 5 years, and he has a GED. We would like to request for a signature on bond, and yet if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of current open cases, which he should be presumed to be innocent, we would like to ask for that $1,000 good bond to remain as it was already ordered. And also, he does not mind staying away from that East Point. However, for his job, he has to take it from College Park and right through to Hamilton Park. So as long as he can go to work, we would like to, he can be suspended from MARTA up to August 24, and then after that he needs to have a MARTA service to go to work. That's it, Your Honor. Signature bond or maximum $1,000. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, in the 595G case, it doesn't appear he received a bond. I'm assuming maybe he wasn't arrested, but in the 735G case, he did receive a $2,500 surety, which he's out on, which is why the 1,000 surety I don't believe is reasonable, because he's already violated a $2,500 surety bond, and why I'm requesting a 4,000 surety.
On the fair evasion, it's going to be 500. On the criminal trespass, it's going to be 2,000. Total bond is set at 2,500, and this is a surety bond. I'm concerned with Mr. Young's inability to pay the fare, and yet the ability to bond out on surety bonds. It's a perplexing matter to me. But 2,500 surety bond, and he is to stay away from all MARTA property. Buses, trains, stations, parking lots, bathrooms, all of them, until further order of the court. I don't care if there's a suspension. I don't care if there's no suspension. Right now, Mr. Young is on a campaign to get as many cases with us as possible. So, no MARTA. And we will see him in court on September 1st. If he makes bond, we will send notice to appear in court to his current mailing address. Thank you, Mr. Young.
Position 7, Fleming.
All right, thank you. We'll go into breakout. Is there another, Francois, did you receive an email from Mr. Segura for Mr.
Officer Norris is taking care of it.
All right, to print and have him review the paperwork. Thank you. All right, Ms. Fleming, this is Brianna Fleming, 22 CR 005521F. She's been accused of simple assault, domestic violence, simple battery, domestic violence, and hindering a person from making an emergency phone call from June 30th, 2022. Ms. Fleming, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. McLeod. At the present time, I understand that the attorneys want to do a breakout session with this matter. So Ms. Fleming, we will be back with you shortly. I just need to find out what the attorneys how they want to move forward with your case. Please do not make any comments about your case while we are not on the main session. Mr. Jordan, could you place Ms. McLeod, Ms. Falk, Ms. Reed, Ms. Beverly Andrews, and myself in a breakout room, please?
Judge, I'll be back.
Okay.
I gotta run upstairs. It's her first arrest too.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, I got Miss McLeod, you and Miss Falk.
Okay, to go in the breakout will be me, Ms. McLeod, Ms. Falk, Ms. Reed, and Ms. Beverly Andrews with the victim advocate.
May I also join, Your Honor? This is ASG Johnson.
Oh, yes, okay, just put your hand up and let Mr. Jordan know you want to join us, okay? All right, we're going to resume with the case of State versus Brianna Fleming. Ms. Fleming, in a review of the warrants, the allegations have been brought against you, as well as the information that was provided by your attorney, Ms. McLeod, and the information provided by the prosecutor, Ms. Reed. Your bond is going to be set as follows. On the simple assault, it's going to be 1,000. The simple battery is going to be 1,500, and hindering a person from making an emergency phone call is 500. That's a $3,000 surety bond. Your next court date is going to be September 1st. Your attorney will be submitting an evaluation request. And in the meantime, also, we want to see whether you can ascertain that you can receive a proper placement in with an agency where you can continue to receive the services which have benefited you in the past. Ms. McLeod will be in touch with you to discuss the next steps. In the meantime, you shall have no contact with Karen Fleming, no contact with the minor LF, and you're to stay away from the incident location. You may return, if you make bond, you may return to that location one time only with a police officer to retrieve your personal belongings. Do you have any questions about your bond? Yes, Ms. Fleming?
So I actually, where I live, I'm the main person on the lease.
You live at that location?
Yes.
And Karen Fleming and LF live there too?
Yes.
They live there too?
Yes, because we were homeless.
Understood. Unfortunately, because you were the one arrested for these charges, I'm going to have to keep you away from that location until it's ascertained that you do not pose a threat to them. All right. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. Thank you. All right, Ms. McLeod, we're going to have to look at these alternatives that we discussed and see whether there are possibilities for options for Ms. Fleming. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Judge, we're completed here in courtroom 2.
I think we have Mr. Brown, right, who has to do the plea.
Oh, okay. Come on, Mr. Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown, have you reviewed the paperwork?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you checked off all the boxes and answered all the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you, on page 1, which is the plea and verdict form, did you put your signature under the date where it says this 18th August of 2022? Did you sign that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and on page 2, where they have a bunch of boxes asking you, do you plead guilty and are you under the influence of medication? Did you check the appropriate box?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
All right, and on page 3, where it talks about defendant's waiver of right of counsel, have you read that passage?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign your name and date it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, have you submitted the signed documents back to the prosecutor?
Yes, ma'am, they will be submitted.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Did you, once you signed off on it?
It was
did you-
already submitted by the deputy. Officer Morris. Officer Morris.
The documents we received are blank. There's no signature, there are no markings by you.
Well, it was a glitch in the computer. It was a glitch in the computer.
No, Your Honor, I sent them already, and the ones I sent weren't blank.
No, Your Honor, I got a fully signed one. I could send it to you.
Okay, no, I just received it.
All right, thank you.
All right, there it is.
Just a minute.
This time.
Okay. Do we have it? Okay. All right, this is much better. Okay, we are addressing case 22 CR 005517E, State versus Ronnie Brown, charged with criminal trespass. Mr. Brown has was represented by the Public Defender's Office, but after conferring with counsel, he has decided to represent himself. He has been advised of the consequences of representing himself. He has also read the defendant's waiver of right to counsel and also knowingly waived his right to counsel. So, Mr. Brown, you are now willingly and voluntarily choosing to represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is going to be a plea hearing with regards to this case. So, Mr. Brown, may I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, now, Mr. Brown, we are going to hear first from the state what the recommendation is, and then after that, I'll ask you some questions, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Segura, what's the recommendation for the charge of criminal trespass?
The state's recommendation is time served 2 days, ban suspended, and a stay away from Malta located at 235 Peachtree Street, Southwest Atlanta. Thank you.
And what's that station at 235 Peachtree Street?
I believe it's the Garnett station.
The Garnett station?
I believe so.
I don't think so.
Is it?
Mm-mm.
It may be the Peachtree Street Station.
It could be Peachtree Center or Civic Center or.
Do you know what it is saying, Garnett?
Is it Garnett?
Yeah, that's what the warrant says. It's Garnett station.
All right, then I go with Garnett Marta Station. Okay. All right, and has Mr. Brown already complete, well, it's 2 for 1, right? So he spent 1 day, so he'll be given credit for the 1 day, correct?
It says on this jailing screen that's 2 days.
Okay, then we'll go with that. Thank you.
Your Honor, I do apologize for interrupting. What I communicated to Mr. Brown is according to the recommendation that I received from Mr. Segura. It says 1 day credit for time served.
At the time when the jailing screen said 1 day, but a few hours afterwards, it said 2 days.
I communicated 1 day to him, Your Honor, with credit for time served.
Well, he read the documents. It says time served 2 days. So, and he checked off on that and said yes. So we need to unmute courtroom 2.
Do we still do 2 for 1?
Yeah, I'm still doing that. So let me check.
Oh, here's the case. It said from this case occurred on August 17th at around 11:56 a.m. So by the time I sent Ms. Gaunt the message, it was around 9 a.m. So still 1 day at that point. But after it became 12, it was day 2 officially.
All right. I understand your position, Mr. Segura. So according to the booking screen on the Fulton County Jail record, he was booked in on 8/17/2022. And depending on the time that he was booked in, he's already classified as being confined for 2 days. So I think it's a moot point at this juncture. Okay? Ms. Gant, do you want to chime in or?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so moving on, Mr. Segura, the recommendation is to serve 2 days, balance suspended, stay away from the Garnett Marta Station at 235 Peachtree Street. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, and is this stay away in accordance with any suspension?
He does have a suspension that was, wait. Yeah, so there's a suspension issued on August the 16th, and it doesn't say as to when it would end.
Okay. Mr. Brown, In order for you to proceed with this case, I need to place you under oath first. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, in order for you to proceed with this plea hearing, one of the requirements is not only the waiver of your rights. You read through the waiver of rights,
Yes, ma'am.
and it looks like you have agreed to waive, that you understand that by pleading guilty to this charge, that you will be waiving your rights. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's a long list of rights that you've read through, and you've agreed that you're going to waive them.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let me still first state that in order for me to proceed with the plea hearing, I need to make sure that you understand that by entering this guilty plea, that you are agreeing that the facts of this case are true.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are agreeing that the alleged offense occurred in Fulton County, Georgia.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are agreeing that the state has charged the correct person, that is you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're agreeing to all these items. Are you currently taking any medication, or have you drunk any alcohol recently?
No, ma'am. I'm done, drug free.
All right, and have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you entering this plea freely, knowingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
And as you read through the documents, you understand that by entering this plea, you have to give up your constitutional rights, including the right to go to trial, to examine witnesses and confront your accuser, to challenge the state's evidence or present your own defenses, to have the state try to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of criminal trespass?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
Your sentence is time served, 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days, balance suspended. You are to stay away from the Marta property located at 235 Peachtree Street in Southwest Atlanta. And you're to stay away from all Marta property in accordance with any suspension that's presently in place.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes.
If you have no other cases holding you at the jail, that concludes this case. Thank you. All right, Francois, that concludes the calendar now. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Okay, so to go over calendar down with the attorneys, position number 1, Anderson, was a 2,500 surety bond, reset date September 1st. Position 2, Andrews, is a $2,000 signature bond through the jail for the notice. Position 3, Beaver, is a $3,000 cash bond, reset September 1st. For position 3, we're going to reset the current case as well as the case ending in 361G, 22 CR 000361G. Both cases are going to be reset on the SAP calendar of September 1. Position 4, Ronnie Brown, was a plea, pro se. Position 5, Bryant, is a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial for the notice. Position 6, Clemens, is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial for the notice. Both are per judge. Position 7 is a Brianna Fleming, $3,000 surety bond, and Ms. McLeod will send in the appropriate evaluation documents.
We had it.
Okay, we've got it. Thank you. Erica Freed, position 8, is a 2,500 split bond, 1,500 surety on the DUI less safe. Reset date September 1st. Position 9 is a $7,000 signature bond through pretrial for the notice. Position 10 is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge for the notice. Position 11, Luke Norris, is a $5,000 split bond. I believe it was $1,000 surety, $1,500 surety bond on the DUI per se. Cedric Rucker is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial for the notice. Position 13 is a $1,000 surety bond, reset date September 1st. Position 14, Styles, a $2,000 a signature bond through the jail for the notice. 15, Strange is a 3,500 signature bond through pretrial for the notice. Position 16 is a $2,000 signature bond for the notice through pretrial. In position 17 is a 2,500 surety bond. Reset date September 1st. All right, I think that concludes our calendar. Thank you so much, everyone. You all have a great Thursday. I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.